Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Nerds of Combat, and today is a something special. One, we have the two founders here of Tough Skin Comics, and two, this is a special episode because this should have been done probably a long time ago. Nerds of Combat is going to review Death Battle, or at least give our own spin on Death Battle. So, of course, for those of you that don't know what Death Battle is, really, it's the popular YouTube channel that does, death battles for the debate community. But we're going to do a couple things today. We're going to break down what Death Battle means to the debate community, their rules, and everything of that nature. And then we're going to do a mock interpretation of their rules for us, such as for the next Death Battle that's coming up, such as Korra and Storm. So it's Admin Impasse, Admin Static, Admin Negro Lantern. And first things first, starting with Impasse, what does Death Battle mean to you and your interpretation of Death Battle for the debate community?
Ooh, okay. Where do I start with this? Okay. When it comes to Death Battle, as far as what it means to me, I always look at it as like more of a fan-oriented show for like more of a voting perspective. Like it always was something that I saw as entertainment, not to be really super taken seriously. Like something that you watch when you're like a fan of a character and you just want to see some like what somebody on YouTube would animate and make a fight between characters look like.
All right. And what about the debate community as a whole to you, that is?
I think it's honestly, it's give and take with the debate community. It can be somewhat toxic. It can be somewhat fun. It's one of those things where it'll get the ball rolling, but it'll also add and be detrimental to it because sometimes their debates are not the most logical.
Got you. All right. Admin Static, of course, you are the founder of not only Tough Skin Comics, but as well as the Nerds of Combat as a whole. And being in the debate community for a long time, what does Death Battle mean to you and for the debate community as a whole?
Thank you for asking me that, Magic. Death Battle don't mean shit to me. Don't mean shit to me. Yes, just like the past said, it's entertainment. Yes, it's entertainment, but that shit is hurting the debate community because then you get these people that believe that rhetoric, like that ass research bullshit that goes around on the internet and everything like that. So YouTube is a huge source for a lot of people when they look up just about anything in general anyway. So when this nerd community with this Death Battle shit, you see stuff like, for example, the Thanos versus Darkseid. You get a lot of times when they break their own rules. They'll use certain characters because they don't feel like doing the research. Good and goddamn well them niggas ain't do their research on Thanos because they decided to go MCU because everyone's seen that movie. So you've seen everything that's done in the MCU. So you're just gonna use those feats and then you're gonna pull everything out the fucking bag for Darkseid and still use them wrong. So
completely wrong. Completely
wrong. And then you get people who don't actually read these comics or anything like that, and they look at Death Battle as law, and they take the minimum amount of research that Death Battle has done and assume that's all the information that's available when it's not. So don't get me wrong, I do watch looking at the fights. Actually, like when I watch these fights happen between these characters, it's fun. I enjoy it. It's the part where they start breaking shit down is when I get irritated.
When they try to make their own logic for it.
Yes, once they start breaking shit down and then they'll tell you all the reasons why this character is amazing and why he should be winning, but ends up losing. So it's like, I hate it.
And we'll get to how we'll review Death Battles and things in their rules and such in just a second. But Negro Lantern, are you available, good sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, boss. I was licking my fingers.
Tell
I was
us,
licking my fingers.
you've been in the game just as long as Admin Static, and we know the battles that you have with people over the years and months and things of that nature. So, what does Death Battle mean to you, and how do you feel it handles for the debate community?
Ooh, that's a loaded approach. I like that. I like that. So, okay, how do I feel about Death Battle? I, as Admin Static just pointed out, I enjoy the animations, right? So when the thing that I feel from indulging in Death Battle is that I feel like I'm only enjoying it because it's offering something at a higher quality that most other channels on YouTube aren't offering. You know, even when we break down things, we're not putting an animation to it, you know? And that's what gives them the validation that people give them this pedestal to sit them on to begin with. You know what I mean? That's really those frustrations that the other two admins have expressed. Like that's what it is, right? So for me, I understand that you're the big boy on top because you have the animation. No, not because you're providing accurate assessments to these fights. You just so happen to have the budget, you know. How the effect that it has on me, again, I think Admin Static hit that nail on the head as well. You know, it flusters me as a fan of verse debates when you look at this and you take it as gold when it's really fool's gold. You know, it's not valuable. We can watch the animation play out after we've had the breakdown, and it's like that don't equate to what you just said to me. That don't even equate to what I'm seeing unfold. You know, so in that regard, it's even less valuable. You know, overall, I don't put too much. I don't put too much judgment on them, mostly because I actually knew the two gentlemen who host, not in any like intimate way, but I knew them well enough. We met at Acon years ago, back when the promos for the Ouya console was going around.
Okay.
And they had the booth right next to the Ouya. And so, like, you know, we talked, we chopped it up. It was pretty great. I mean, they even offered my older brother like an internship. We stayed in contact. I had their email. I'm pretty sure I still do to this day, or at least the old email. And then I would run into to Boomstick all the time after that. You know, we're all here in Texas. And one day, matter of fact, some of the fights that Death Battle did, I personally suggested to them at these different intervals. And so, like, the day that the Devil May Cry Bayonetta one dropped, which is the most important one to me, of course, at the time, I was in Austin with Boomstick. We just so happened to be at the same hotel. I was doing some stuff with my music career, and I was with my distributor, and we bumped into each other in the parking lot, you know, and we were chopping it up. But in the midst of that conversation, to make a long story short, Boomstick said something to me that changed my entire perspective on my frustrations with them as the host. And he was like, it's not us. We just read the script. It's whoever's producing the episodes who actually go do all the research, and then we just read the script, you know? So we all know Death Battle has changed like a lot of hands over the years, you know? So, you know, it's not really the host's fault. And I think a lot of people who feel the kind of ways that we feel blame them too often when it's really not their fault, man. But
It
overall,
really is.
But overall, that's some premise, you know? And so to answer your question, that's the best way I feel like I could verbalize my emotional attachment and detachment or disillusion with Death Battle.
Got you. For me, because I'm not gonna lie, I used to be a casual fan. I did before I got into the actual debate community and things of that nature and got accepted into the Nerds of Combat group. I read comic books a lot, things of that nature. I had my favorite characters, but I used to be one of those fans. I was like, oh yeah, it's 9 times bigger than the universe for Dragon Ball and all that other goofiness.
Fucking gluttonous niggas.
I used to, because I think a lot of us on the outside of the debate community don't know no better. So as you said, Static, we take this stuff as law because we ain't no actual casual fan is putting in the research and work for looking all this stuff up. So if somebody says, oh, because big numbers and big calculations equal truth because people are just too lazy to actually look it up. So like if you see somebody doing, oh, Superman can lift 6 septillion tons and because that's the weight of the earth and blah, 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 people are gonna be like, yeah, that's right. And won't question the shit at all. Like,
funny because I was actually on a post where like they was trying to equate how fast Goku is, and then it was doing like this huge ass equation and shit like that. And it was a long ass comment. And then right under that, one person said, this shit's wrong. And like it was just like,
yeah.
I was like, that nigga wasted his whole time right now, that whole equation just for someone to say, yeah, that shit's wrong.
And it's just like I said, I used to be that casual fan of taking people, Seth the Programmer, Chuck, Death Battle, like Geekdom 101, just taking their words as law. And it was, and I would argue people up and down. But then coming into places like Nerds of Combat and even other ones that, even though I don't agree with them, you still have to at least put in the research to actually, when you're in the debate community, you still actually have to put in the work to make sure that you're proven wrong, because people will surprise you every once in a while. For every bad egg you got a couple that'll surprise you and you'll be like, huh.
Oh yeah, really put you on some stuff like, huh.
Exactly. And it's just like,
I just learned something today.
So that's Death Battle. Like that's what's Death Battle to me. As far as the debate community, luckily Negro Lantern put me in a different perspective when, you know, he had that conversation. It's just because I used to be, like I said, I used to be hardcore into it. So when one of my favorite characters that I knew that I had research on, even as a casual, I knew I had research on and was doing, I was just like, they wasn't supposed to fucking lose. The fuck? And it would just get me pissed off. But it's just like, I take it as entertainment value now. There's no, because all the calculations you doing is false. There's no way that you could come up with that calculation actually have it make sense in most comic book landscapes, because nobody actually, like, there's no human being that has punched a mountain and destroyed it.
All.
There's no human being that has gone the speed of light. There is no human being that has broke the time barrier. Like, all this is just this comic book made up stuff. And people trying to use real world equations most of the time, and they fail and it's wrong. And it's just like, oh my God. But to move on before I get upset.
You should.
We all already upset.
Oh yeah.
How we here at Nerd
because we upset.
Yeah, this is very true.
Yeah.
How we will review death battles. You'll have a slew of hosts of an admin here. And we will go, like, for our mock on this video, we will do Korra versus Storm, which is the latest death battle that is soon to be coming. But Nerds of Combat will go back all the way back to season 1, and we're not gonna react to the death battles. There's some of them are like 30, 40, 50 minutes. And not only does that take that much time to watch, but to edit, to actually put in the actual information in the actual scans and things of that nature would take way too long. So we're going to take, for example, the most popular one, of course, is Goku versus Superman. Yeah. So we're going to take Goku versus Superman And we're not going to do no real world calculations, none of that nonsense. We're going to
if you don't mind, I'd like to say something right there too, because you could say that somebody will hear this and be like, well, why wouldn't you do that? Well, here's the thing. We could, as Admin Static pointed out, we can go through a plethora of word salads with you that has a lot of zeros on it, right? And as Admin Magic said, we don't have any real world reflections for that, right? But let's say we do the theoretical equation. It's not going to matter when you tell us based on what you perceive when you look at the pixels to try to measure the size, and when you say, oh, it takes this to blow up a dwarf star, and so on and so forth. It's not going to matter when there's a comic page that says, and of course, manga is a comic, right? Or even if you look at the anime as source material or anime cartoon, however you feel about those cognotations, like when it's not going to matter when the actual source material says, yeah, never exceeded rocket level. So what was you said it would take 6 million years of fuel in order to get from the surface of the planet to Mars, when literally it was like, yo, 1 Tesla coil will get us there. Like, it's not gonna matter. So I just want to point that out. Like, don't take what Admin Magic said and go and get salty and be like, oh, well, that invalidates and there's no value to what they're about to say now. Don't do that, because not only is that part of the pre-existing problem, you're only robbing yourself of accurate information. It's not going to matter if you say, oh, the Flash is super fast because he did this. If the page says he did it inside the Speed Force, that's a highway that is a caveat to that character, and it specifically. You know what I mean? So I just want to clear that up. Don't take what Admit Magic said and then immediately try to ignore this part of the podcast.
Exactly. So thank you for that, Admin Negro Lantern. Appreciate that. So, like I said, don't get mad. As Admin Negro Lantern said, it's just a bunch of word salad that won't mean anything if the page on the comic or the manga or the anime contradicts you entirely. So, like I said, Goku versus Superman. And speaking of which, we'll go over their rules. The number 1 rule of Death Battle, per them, mind you, on Death Battle Cast episode 77, the rules of Death Battle. Number 1, combatants possess no prior knowledge of each other unless specified by canon or otherwise. So this is going to be people's first time meeting each other. There's no prep time. There's none of that nonsense. So if we doing Batman versus Captain America, it's gonna be the first time they seen each other. There ain't gonna be no prep time. Dr. Doom versus somebody. There ain't no prep Doom God, no Doom bot crap here, and all this other mess and all that other bullshit. No, it's gonna be the first time they meeting each other. Number 2, to ensure a fair fight, all moral restraints from killing are ignored. All other traits are considered. So that means every character that is in this death battle that we are going to be discussing in this series is bloodlusted. They are going for the kill, period. Unless some trait that they have is otherwise specified, every character is going for the head or the heart, period. Number 3, a character's maximum potential is examined unless otherwise specified. Factors unrelated to the characters cannot end the battle. So, as a perfect example, Superman, he has many forms. Composite sum. Cosmic Armored Superman is a part of the Composite Superman. However, how we will review it is a maximum potential without amps. So
exactly.
For example, for Superman, Superman Prime 1 million is the maximum potential of Superman. Because that was the post-crisis Superman standing in the sun for 15,000 years. Wonder Woman, for example, which mark Wonder Woman? We're not going to go with any of the ones in Death Metal that had the amp of Dr. Manhattan's powers, nor am I going with the Wonder Woman that is at the end of Death Metal, because that was given as an amp by her putting in her lasso of truth in the World Forge, which is an amp. So no. So maximum potential without amps. So for Goku, for example, Master Ultra Instinct is his maximum potential without amps.
Yep.
Even though technically you could possibly argue that the Spirit Bomb gave him an amp, but we'll let it slide. We will let it slide.
Like, we could do that with God Key, in all honesty, if we want to really get technical.
Yeah, we could, but we're going to let it slide because we already have enough DBZ fans.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have enough of the fanboys at us after this.
Okay. And last but not least, all official material related to a character is applied unless found contradictory to the original source material. So, for all of you people that like to pull video game feats that don't relate to video game characters, for all of you that like to pull crossovers, none of that shit matters. All canon material, which in this case we will specify as current canon, because once again, for Superman's case, I am not pulling back Silver Age Superman. We're just doing Superman at his maximum potential, which Superman Prime 1 million is still canon.
Yep.
So
it really is.
So once again, no prior knowledge. Every character is bloodlusted unless some specifies, which more than likely will not matter. Number 3, maximum potential, no amps. And number 4, all official material. No out of canon data books, no crossovers, none of that. So for a perfect example, excuse me, Android 18 versus Captain Marvel, when they decide to pull a video game move that she has never pulled in any canon, period, in order for her to get the win against Captain Marvel. So no, that is no longer going to be applied. So
yeah.
Does anybody have any problems with these rules?
No.
Cool. Anybody want to add on to anything just to make sure that we are very specific on how we review these things?
Yeah. Before we start, I just want to add on right now. A lot of you in DBZ community hate me. So but before we go ahead and start that, I did not know this part was going to be part of the podcast. And I am wearing a Dragon Ball shirt. Now, I do have Dragon Ball figures in the back with a Dragon Ball right here. So, yes, I am a fan.
Yep. Same here. It was one of the first anime I watched.
I am with Justice Family.
All that paraphernalia makes you a Super Saiyan 2 perpetrator.
I'm good with that. Just y'all niggas hate me before, you're gonna hate me now. So let's go.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. We already sealed when we started talking about this, so we're gonna have to.
We're gonna get plenty of hate. I can already tell. So
let me correct you. The fanboys, the DBZ fanboys hate me.
There you go.
Let me correct that.
Leave the hate where it lies.
So, as a mock test, just so you can get an idea of how we're going to be doing this, and I will try to make sure that I provide the scans that are needed for this type of ordeal. We are going to be doing our own interpretation of Korra versus Storm. Of course, you know Korra from the Avatar: The Last Airbender series and universe versus Storm, the weather goddess from Marvel Comics. Of course, once again, we're going to be only using canon material. So that means pretty much no crossovers. Marvel canon for Storm, we will do current. For Korra, we will use animated series and the comic books. And of course, they are bloodlusted. So there is no moral restraints. And they have no prior knowledge of each other. So first things first, Admin Impasse. We'll go through it pretty much how I see it on my screen, which is how I see it on my screen is counterclockwise, which is Admin Impasse, then Static, then Negro Lantern, then me. So Admin Impasse, counterclockwise, Korra versus Storm. Who wins and why?
Oh, I am gonna catch flack for this.
No, you probably won't, because this shouldn't have been the thing.
It really shouldn't have been. We shouldn't even be talking about this. Like, no offense to Avatar fans, because I'll love the series with the passion. It was one of those Nick cartoons at the time that when it came out, I was in that zeitgeist where it was popular. Mm-hmm. And I was with the hype and I was with the series and I went with it for the long haul. But I don't see Korra beating Storm. Like, I just don't see it. Storm has way too many crazy enough feats with her abilities that people really forget about a lot from time to time. Like, especially when it comes to her powers. Like, her power set in general is kind of absurd with what she's able to do. I think I remember in one comic, even recently, I want to say it was Marauders, where she literally killed Callisto by using lightning on her heart in close combat range from her fist.
I believe.
Like, punching her and fried her heart from the inside out.
I want to say
like,
that's 13 to 17 of Marauders. I know it's in between that time frame.
It's in that gray area right there. And I still remember reading that like, holy crap, she can do that? I forgot she could do that. And no offense against Korra and everything, it's just that her combat ability varies greatly when it comes to like close to the later half of the seasons, I want to say. When the Avatar state was in what it was, and she basically broke it, as they say. Well, not broke it, whatever happened that happened. Because if I sit down and I really try to break down the show and everything, we're gonna be here forever. So
pretty much when the spirit got destroyed at the end of season 2.
Yeah. Like pretty much when that happened.
She lost the Avatar cycle. Yeah.
Yeah. Like she really hindered herself. Like all in all, she is a very capable bender. I am not saying on any level she isn't. It's just that we know that Korra, in her experience with combat and everything, she's strongest when it comes to like earth, fire, and water bending. Mm-hmm. Like, because she even grew up using these elements at a very early age. But when it came to airbending, it took her the longest time to get to it. And even then, I think that was at the end of season 1, I want to say, where she got a hold of airbending. And even then, that was through the Avatar state, I believe.
No, it was because of plot.
Yep.
It was because of plot. You could be mad, Avatar fans, you can be mad at me as you want to. Amon took her bending away. And she miraculously said, I can airbend. No, that was plot. Mm-hmm. That was all plot. I'm sorry.
Plot.
And then Aang came through as a spirit and was like, we're about to get your bending back. No, that was plot. Mm-hmm. That was plot.
Yeah.
Then not to mention you spent
like basically Aang coming through and saving the day.
Yeah. Not to mention you spent a season and a half on PTSD. Like, but you know, but admin static. Korra versus Storm. And why?
I'm mad I ran out of wine for this. This, like you said earlier, this shouldn't even be a fight. But this is how I feel how Death Battle is going to do it. And it's gonna be this is how Death Battle is going to do it.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna call it right now. Like they're going to edge out the Korra, and this is how they're going to do it. I think it's going to be, even though they have no knowledge of these motherfuckers, and Korra is not that smart to figure this out. Some way, somehow, she's going to get the edge over Storm by encasing her in fucking earthbending, and Storm's claustrophobia is going to kick in, and that's going to give her the fucking fight. I feel like that's what's going to happen. But the way I look at it, this isn't even fucking close. Even if you want to go hand-to-hand combat, Korra is still an amateur hand-to-hand fighter. She's still trying to fucking learn throughout the entire series. She's trying to learn how to properly fight, even while bending at that. And anything that fucking Korra tries to water bend, Storm is going to fucking take control of that shit. Storm has a massively higher control level when it comes to that water bending. So she's going to use that shit against her. Fucking Storm is basically a goddamn water bender, airbender her fucking self. Lightning firebender, because since firebenders know how to use fucking lightning, like Storm is basically that shit herself anyway. Not to mention Storm has like she's able to use magic as well. So Korra has not been up against fucking magic, just elemental shit. And even the elemental shit she's been up against is nowhere near as powerful as fucking Storm. Storm's resume, she's a queen of the motherfucking galaxy, for God's sake, right now.
Yep, the Regent of Soul and our leader of Mars.
Yeah, so it's like you don't. The feats aren't even close. It's not. I don't understand what I'm supposed to say here. I really don't. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. How much clearer does it? Does it need to be? Like, even when Storm didn't have her powers, I can't believe I'm saying this shit. Even when she didn't have her powers, she still beat Cyclops in the fucking fight. Yeah, she beat Cyclops in the fight without her powers. Like, and I love my nigga Cyclops. He's a great hand-to-hand combatant, but Korra ain't no Cyclops either when it comes to hand-to-hand.
Exactly.
She's fucking trash at hand-to-hand combat.
And let's not even overlook the fact that Storm's powers are literally irrigating a planet. and adding weather and like an entire atmosphere kind of thing to a planet, for God's sake.
Another thing that Death Battle's going to try to use to give Korra the fucking win is the fact that Storm is going to do this big ass fucking, I don't know, electrical storm or some shit like that. And right after that storm, she's going to fucking pass out. She's going to be tired. She's going to be gassed because, that was probably for the longest. But the last time I checked, she got over that shit. So,
yep.
And I'm pretty sure they're not going to do their research on that.
Nope.
Admin Negro Lantern.
Fuckery is strong in this one.
Yeah.
Korra versus Storm. Who wins and why?
Man, there's a lot of sentiment that came from, all you guys, because what can I add to this? I see this literally turning out as they fuck Storm out of a clear-cut victory with the blood bending. That's how I see it. Which if you're gonna go to extremes, and especially like things that the characters don't normally do, I would extremely say then this isn't even close to a match that should last more than 13 seconds. Because Storm could immediately cut off her synapses immediately, just make her brain dead, suffocate her. It's not it. Storm's too broken, you know. Even there was something Admin Static mentioned, you know, the whole claustrophobia thing. Like last time we saw somebody even try to do the claustrophobia thing with Storm, it was in Wakanda against a god. And the moment T'Challa talked her through it, you know, because she overcame it in that issue, she one-shotted the god. Mind you, not only was Black Panther and a lot of Wakandans already fighting that god, but Black Panther's sister, who was a god herself, was already boxing with this dude. So we know the power level was incredible. And Storm came out and it was over. Literally, that's it. It wasn't even a prolonged two panels. It was Storm did one thing. She stood up, flew up, ended it. Like it was over. Another thing too is I think that they'll be so caught up in trying to show Storm do these lightning tricks, and it's like you don't even understand the character. Storm's go-to isn't lightning; it's usually wind. And as even Magneto has expressed, if it wasn't for Storm's, which will not matter in this death battle, if it wasn't for Storm's rule about not killing folk, those winds alone would absolutely destroy people. Like this, it's not close. We've seen Storm overpower gods. She's the goddess. Even as Guardians, when they speak to her, they don't say, "Hey, Earth mutant." They don't even look at her as a mutant. Like they straight up call her the goddess. Like that's what she is. It's the two levels are not near the same playing field. And yeah, we can get into this like this group of or mentality of these people who are like, well, that, you know, it doesn't matter what their titles are. Yeah, it kind of does, you know, because this is an acknowledgement of their power level. Someone in training to become the avatar of something versus the person who is well beyond avatar level and could have her own if she wanted to. You know, you're talking about someone who, you're talking about someone who, if, as we saw when War Machine died, if you just put her in a particular mood, it would affect the entirety of the planet. You're talking about someone who can create cosmic storms. This is not you're talking about someone who can control the electromagnetic spectrum. No matter what Korra does as a technique, if it has any elements involved, it is more than safe to say outside of bloodbending, Storm can dissipate whatever she tries to do. We've seen it. Like this isn't this is really a testament to just how untrustworthy Death Battle is. That you would even consider these two characters, even if you say, hey, the fans asked for this, that wasn't the time to listen to the fans.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'll be satisfied till fucking Storm pulls
Right.
out her Storm pulls out her hammer, fucking the shit she fought Thor with and shit.
Even if you talk about combat, like just recently with the whole 10 swords thing.
Extra swords,
yeah, like there was a fight between her and Shuri, and in that fight it was insinuated that Storm was near T'Challa level in combat. What? What? The god of combat? She was near the god of combat level? Are you serious? This isn't. I have really nothing to add. Like, there's nothing fruitful I can say. This is more ridiculous to talk about than it is fruitful to point out things. Like, you can't waterbend anything significant around Storm. Storm can flash freeze you. This isn't and you're talking about fighting to the death. Have you, man? Have you ever seen? And I don't mean this as a viable piece of evidence to use in the death battle, but when you play like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and those things, and you see Storm in motion, right? Like that visual of just how consistent she's coming is what they're conveying in panels in comic books. Like, this is not close in the most minimalistic way. Even if you took the most composite form of Korra, you still could use the most basic form of Storm, and this still wouldn't even be close. Like, yeah, it's ridiculous to me. It's absolutely ridiculous to me. Like, Storm could win that fight literally with no effort. Like, it could literally just be Storm 70. And mind you, Storm has said this. It could literally be Storm somewhere else on the globe and literally take her out. Just take Korra out, nowhere even in the vicinity to even come within harm's way. All this because Storm didn't like the way her coffee tasted.
Like, I understand. I understand that this is for entertainment purposes, and like there's gonna be back and forth and everything. Like, they're gonna be fighting. So, real, truthfully, there should be no back and forth in this fight. There should be no back and forth.
Exactly, and that's the reason why we're doing this. That's why we're literally taking Death Battle's rules and actually applying them. And now it's time for me. So let's give a definition. An Omega level mutant is a mutant whose dominant power is deemed to register or reach an undefinable upper limit of that power's specific classification. Jamie Braddock, Robert Drake, who is Iceman, Joshua Foley, who is Elixir, Jean Grey, Legion, Magneto, Proteus, Mr. M, Exodus, Kid Omega, Vulcan, and Hope Summers, and last but not least, Miss Monroe herself, Storm. An Omega level mutant has an undefinable upper limit. And what is Storm's Omega power? Weather manipulation. So that means when it comes to weather and or elements, she has no undefinable limit versus Korra.
Like, this is ridiculous. Her lightning isn't regular lightning. I know people
It
out
really
there think
isn't.
that. Like, no, this is a lightning that impresses, like, again, as Guardians. Like, this is a lightning that impresses other gods, if not outright defeats them. You know, this is a woman whose power we know for a fact could terraform the planet.
Exactly, which it has by accident in some occurrences.
It's not even a debate. You're talking about a woman who literally held up a city's worth of a tsunami. Come on, man.
As when was already previously mentioned, when War Machine died, her shock and her grief created what is the proper term for those? Is it Erebolus?
Yeah, she created an aurora. Yeah.
She created an aurora across the planet in a moment of grief for someone. She literally changed the planet in a manner of grief. There is no element that Korra can pull. Now, the thing about Korra is what they're going to try to pull, as Static has mentioned, they're going to try to pull her. They're going to try to pull Storm's claustrophobia. They're going to try to pull the old X-Men cartoons with the whole her passing out. They're going to try to pull blood bending, as Negro Lantern has pointed out. And they're going to try to pull one more thing. They're going to try to pull the fact that she can become a spirit avatar. They're going to try to pull they're going to try to do her spirit bending and all that mess to try to make sure to give this a good animation fight. But if you were to take Death Battle's rules at its actual value, in which both characters are bloodlusted, there is no element on the planet that Storm cannot just goodbye out my face.
Storm wouldn't even go to the fight. She'll keep her ass in fucking Wakanda or wherever she is and she gonna concentrate hard enough and fucking blow goddamn Korra's ass up like she did that fucking Queen jet.
I mean, we're not even talking about Storm's speed. Whew.
Yeah, no,
Come on, man.
We're not even like, this is the thing. Like, we haven't, like, this is just for the audience to understand where we're coming from when it comes to these death battles. We haven't mentioned Storm speed. We're just mentioning what pretty much is going to be the basis of this battle. It is going to be Korra with the power of the elements versus Storm and the power of weather and her elements. And when it comes to these powers, if you actually take the canon material, which I just once again just read a simple definition, which is canon per House of X, she has an undefinable limit to her weather manipulation. And as Admin Negro Lantern has stated, that undefinable limit has defeated gods. She has made cosmic storms that have impressed the Silver Surfer.
Exactly.
Like
let's impress upon this. Think about that. Storms in space.
Something that the Avatar has not seen. Period.
Or would have an idea of.
Also, too, I want people to keep in mind, like, the two definable differences between both of these characters is, like, you got Korra, which, you know, manipulates you know, the materials around her, this water, the lightning and the earth and everything like that, where you have Storm, who not only manipulates but creates these elements that
and conjures them. She can literally conjure up a storm on a clear sunny day.
Exactly. Be like, you know what? It's too hot today. I feel like snow.
Korra manipulates a small portion of these elements at a time, whereas Storm can literally create these elements. Not only create these elements, when she does decide to manipulate any existing elements, you got Storm able to, you know, cause entire fucking tidal waves where Korra can barely, even in the Avatar state, can barely manage a lake.
So just imagine the strongest tornado that you could possibly imagine and then multiply it. That is what Storm can do. Imagine the strongest rainstorm. Multiply it. That's what Storm
and then we're
can do.
Still not even talking about her electromagnetic capabilities. Like, you're talking about someone who literally will create fog and make you think it's 40,000 of her standing around you. You know, you're talking about someone who literally could stop you from touching yourself because she just eliminated your friction. You know, like, this is wild to me. Like, what are you gonna do when the whole playing field is just Storm, you know, throwing ice shards everywhere? Like, what are you gonna do?
Like, that's the thing that is the biggest synopsis of this battle. What is Korra going to do when Storm can literally change the playing field and doesn't even have to fight herself? She can literally conjure up anything imaginable as far as weather goes and say, okay, Korra, fight this. And now what?
Exactly.
And Korra will not, Korra at her maximum, once again, one of the rules states it's at your maximum potential without amps. So once again, at her most maximum potential, there is nothing that any bender has done. You can even throw Aang in this. It will not matter. And the thing about it is, energy bending is not going to do anything either. So
speaking of that, quick shout out to Admin Thor, just so he knows that Korra is better than Aang.
Oh, he is.
Oh, we gonna catch flack for this.
But yeah, no. Like I said, for this mock, for that battle, like that, like this is, I don't know what Death Battle was thinking. I don't know who they decided to listen to when it came to this.
If anyone out there can make a legit win. Like legitly convince me otherwise that Korra can
not
win.
only you convince. In fact, if you can go to the Nerds of Combat, we'll post this on the Nerds of Combat Facebook page. If you can literally create a legitimate win, I will cash out the person $20.
If you, I'll go even further. I'll go even further.
I got one better for you. If you can convince yourself that you actually believe this is a fair fight, you know, you come and you tell us all about how you did that there.
I'll go even further. If you can convince me that the fact that Korra can win this fight, I'll give up crawfish. Nigga, like
I will give you $20 and I will give up seafood. If you can convince me that Korra can actually legitimately win, I mean legit, and once again, we are taking Death Battle's rules and we are actually applying them. So that means no prior knowledge, bloodlusted, going for the kill, canon material, maximum potential. If you can somehow legitimately create the fact that Korra can win, once again, I will cash app you $20 and I will give up seafood forever because I know for a fact you can't do it.
I will fucking. I will remove gout from my friends list if you fucking prove me.
Because there's no way. There is no legitimate way that you can convince us that because all Storm is doing is fighting a lesser version of herself.
Exactly.
There's no way even Death Battle believes this. There's no way unless these niggas at Death Battle only use the 90s cartoon version of Storm. If that's the only version they decide,
even then, it still don't matter. Even then, it still doesn't matter.
Even then, but like that's the best you're going to get. You have to use the 90s cartoon version, and that's it. That's the best thing you can do for Korra.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, you can't use comics. That's a wrap.
Nah, we start using that even in the 90s. It's good for you, Korra.
I take that back. You're gonna have to use Halle Berry Storm.
I mean, what are you gonna say her defense is? We saw Storm manhandle multiple heroes in Civil War II and turn around and break the bands of Sidorak. Come on.
There is no, I don't know what Death Battle was thinking. There is no legitimate way, but we're gonna have to. That is the end of our first presentation of our Death Battle reviews. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Nerds of Combat channel. I should have said that in the beginning, but this is we had to get this out the way.
Yeah.
But no, stay tuned. We will do it. Actually, next time we will do an update after the match. That Death Battle posted because I believe they're doing it on Monday. I believe.
Oh man.
Hold on, let me just make sure. Because you know how Death Battle likes to do things. So
I'm just waiting for Static's whole prediction to come true, and I'm just gonna sit here like, God damn it.
No, they can't be that crazy. Let's see here. Okay, so they actually don't have it yet. Because let's see, the last Death Battle was 4 days ago. Okay, so no, they like to do a 2 to 3 week period because they like to introduce Storm. Then they like to introduce Korra, and then they do the Death Battle. So we probably won't see the Death Battle until December. So, but next time, like I said, we'll be going in order from season 1 all the way to current and go from there. For Admin Static, Admin Impasse, Admin Negro Lantern, I am Admin Magic. Once again, this has been Nerds of Combat. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and enjoy, and take care.
All right.